that asked this question, she was talking about what is it more about behavior or parents, or is it something deeper? I thought of the famous designer Coco Chanel. She says a girl should be two things: classy and fabulous. That was Coco Chanel's famous quote. But I wanted to do something. Let's see. Try something a little new that I don't usually do, because I guess I have to get in the habit, because it will make the show more interesting. So I want to share a picture of a young lady, and this is a woman that I admire, that fits my description of being classy. This is my ideal type of woman. This is, how to pronounce her name, is Sade Yousefi. Looking at some of these pictures, looking at some of her pictures, it made me want to take a trip to Iran. Now, I remember sometime in, possibly, what's she eating here? What is that? Must be a dessert. So I remember sometime in like 2019, 2020, I was following this woman, and I'm not usually on Instagram. I remember I removed myself from social media years ago, but when I think of a woman that dresses modest or conservative, not showing off her body or her backside, turning her backside in her pictures, it's more like she's showing off her beauty, but more of her sense of style in clothing. Compared to some of the women that I see online, it's almost like they're trying to show their body parts. Now, yes, I'm a man, so of course it's like, okay, it's appealing. But if you are a young lady that is trying to get married, and looking at this young lady profile, I want to say fair use. But when I think of a woman in my head to wear like the type that I'm attracted to in clothing now, the other thing is, let's see. Let me show you some nice. You see, that's some beautiful pictures. Pretty girl. And it's funny that she's actually from Iran. And I started thinking about my female friend that's Iran, the model that I've mentioned in a couple of my last videos. And it just made me laugh when I thought about it, because this young lady here is from Iran as well. I was like, man, I might have to take a train and go to Iran, or a flight, something. If they got good looking women out there like this. Look at that. That's cute as a button, isn't it? Now, someone said, oh, you a Muslim man and you think? I'm not perfect. And I'm not doing anything harm. It's just admiring beauty. What's she eating here? Like I said, I'm not on Instagram much, but if I always thought of a woman that dressed classy and was nice, good Lord have mercy, mashallah. And that's what I said earlier today, because I was looking up trying to said, mashallah. You're talking about gorgeous. So look at that. There's beauty. No toxins, no plastics, great for the environment. So in comparison, I had to think about like the difference when you go online and you see women like trying to, uh, like in most of their photos, they're showing pictures of their chests or they're turning. Let me see if I can go back. Oh, shoot. I don't know if I added the photo. Wait a second. Let me see. I think I messed up. Let me show y'all this young lady so y'all can see. Look at that. It's like I said, no plastic, no toxins, great for the environment. Mashallah. Beautiful girl. So what I was saying, because I forgot to add to the stage, um, you know, when you see photos of a woman, this is just like I said, this is my ideal type of women in my thought in my head. And just like I said, when I was online a couple of years ago, which I'm not active on Instagram, I just share my content and I go from there. But compared to a lot of women that you see to where it's almost like they're showing off their body parts and have their, it's basically like they're trying to solicit their body or something. Look at that. Beautiful. And when I think about a woman that's classy or fabulous, like I always think of this young lady. Well, this woman ain't young. She's in her 40s, so well, she should be close to 40. I think the last time I checked, like a week ago or something, when I was trying to put this together. And one thing that I noticed was that even though this woman is close to 40, just like I said, gentlemen, she's feminine, submissive, cooperative, and we always go back to the four criteria for selecting, especially if you're a Muslim man. She needs to be intelligent, pious, religious. She needs to have wealth, meaning she could not necessarily money, but maybe she could teach you things about the Quran and teach you more things. And she has to be beautiful. And at least that's my criteria. But I mean, I don't think that's a pretty bad criteria to have. I think, I think that could work well for most men. Now, in comparison with my friend, I remember sometime maybe a year and a half ago or something, we were in Paris. Look at that, gorgeous. We were in Paris, and so me and my friend, we were in Paris, and it was so funny when I saw this picture because my friend Meryl, look almost similar somewhat when she gets beautiful, beautified or whatever. So I remember I was in Paris and my friend Meryl, we were sitting down at this restaurant. And for some reason, this restaurant, it was like they open up like at like 11 or something, and they close at like 4 or 5 o'clock. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm like, how are you expecting to make any money? But I was like, it's whatever. So we're sitting down, and Meryl, we're having tea, because, most Muslims like to drink tea. I don't see many drinking coffee too much, but mostly tea. We like to have tea. Even after, especially Turkey got me into it to where after every meal we have chai tea. So Meryl and I are having tea, and so this lady to the left of me, it was just us, two parties, just us, and there's the gentleman, a woman, and another young lady, which happened to end up being husband and wife and their daughter. that was visiting or something like that. So the lady, me and Meryl having tea, and the lady, she says to this lady, she says she looks over at Meryl and says, "Excuse me, miss." She says, let me get out of this. So the lady, oops, I picked the wrong one. What did I do? I am messing up. Okay, now I got it. Now I can think I can pick the right thing. This thing. It's the first time I'm doing sharing screen and stuff. But anyways, now it looks darker. Okay, that was thing. But anyway, so this lady, this lady, she's to the left of me, and well, she's there over here at this table, like way over here, like there's nobody here, but some, on the 2 tables over. So the family is there. So the young lady looks at Meryl and says, "Excuse me, miss, you are so gorgeous. Where are you from?" So my friend Meryl, she says, "Oh, I'm from so and so, and my mom is from here, and my dad is from here." And and so she said, "Okay, what do you do for a living?" She said, "Oh, well, I am a designer. I design my own clothing. I have my own clothing line, and so forth and so forth." So I'm like, when the lady said told her you're gorgeous, I'm like, and I looked at Mira and I was like, "Oh, she is nice." And the reason why it shocked me, because even though Meryl is gorgeous, she didn't really like dress up, like beautify herself all the time when we were out. I mean, she would dress nice, but not in the sense to where it looked like she just come from a photo shoot or something. And this particular day, I'm like, "Dang, she does look nice." I'm like, "My God, that girl is beautiful." So even I had to say it too, but it was thing. But I think the thing that got me was uh, Meryl. She looks nice, but she has like that attitude. So it just threw me off sometimes, because I would say, "Man, that girl can be a little bit masculine at times," but then she'll come and she'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I was just, I know I'm difficult and I shouldn't do that to you, and I know you're nice, and please forgive me." And I'm like, "I'm a tough cookie." But anyways, so that made me think of my friend Meryl when I thought of adding this. I just thought of this young lady like sometime in the middle of probably was like Thursday, and I was like, "You know what? Maybe I should incorporate this instead of mention it. Maybe I should put some visual in my videos, and then try to make my videos a little bit more interesting." I know that I might have nice stories or whatever, but I was like, okay, let me try to make it more engaging, and looking at a few of the to give you a visual. So I was like, yeah, so I was like, that is nice. So now let me see. I want to go back. So let's see, because I want y'all to look at a Sade. Let's see. Hmm. Can I do that? Did I let you click off? Now I did that. Let's see. Oh yeah, we look good together. Put that up there like that. Anyways, so what the world? But yeah, so as I'm coming up with this stuff, and it's funny how things start coming together. So I was at the grocery store yesterday, and I was talking to this gentleman, And I went in there to ask about a particular tart. I tried to, I like the little tarts at the store, like even today, I went and liked the Biscoff with the Biscoff cookie tart, but they didn't have it. So I eventually went back again in the store today to get the fruit tart, um, the little dessert. So I see this gentleman in the store. So we started talking, and next thing you know, we got on the topic of relationships and things like that. And he saw me looking at this uh, uh, video on my phone, and he was like, and it was of Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. So I was like, yeah, I just wanted to start watching more of his videos again because it had me thinking about something that I want to do in my video for the upcoming weeks, inshallah. So the gentleman was happy to see that. So we got on the topic of talking about Kevin Samuels. So, what I told him is that I noticed that there was a difference in the woman's behavior and attitude comparing women in Western cultures, like mostly, I would say not so much in Western cultures, because I've met some nice, kind Latin American women and women from Canada. I think that when I say things about Western civilizations and even UK, I think more of what I'm talking about is the attitude mostly of some. So I would say there are some women in Europe and some women in Latin America that got a great attitude, but I still think that overall, I see women that are in the Middle East, and Western parts of Asia. I see that those women, well, may not be Thailand or the Philippines as much, but I mean, I don't know. I've only been over there for about a week, so I can't really give a good observation or view of that. But it's just what they post online and what they do. But when I was talking to the gentleman, I was saying that I've traveled to multiple countries, and I see a difference of the women, how they dress and carry themselves with respect. And I was mentioning to him, the thing that I noticed was that the attitude of some of the women compared to women in the US was far more appealing. Like a woman coming into a man's life is supposed to bring comfort and peace into a man's life. And that's what I feel being around these women that are in these other countries, like in the continent in Africa or in Europe, certain parts in Europe, or going out in the Middle East, Asia, or far parts Asia, even Thailand. I was like, these women are so welcoming, inviting, very friendly, have great attitude. So I was telling him this stuff. So we started, talking about that, and he was like, he needs to, start traveling more and things like that. And I told him, I agree, especially for him being a black man or a man of color. So he started telling me, he said, it's funny that I'm talking about it, because he said that he watched a video with Tracy Ellis Ross and talked about how she was on some show with the President Obama's wife, Michelle, and that she doesn't date older men. And the gentleman at the grocery store, he was just telling me, he said, yeah, he said, but we all know what, if this woman is in her 60s and she's saying that she's dating men in their 40s, or, so we know what those men want. Those men aren't going to marry her. And I was like, yeah, I said, and that's the thing. You have a lot of older women that they don't want to date a guy. If they're in their 60s, they don't really want to date a guy older because, in Tracy Ellis' words, according to the gentleman that I was speaking to at the grocery store, she was saying that the older men try to control her in a way. And I said, no, it's not that they try to control her. And even if they did, I said the main thing is she doesn't take instructions from a man. So it's not about control. I mean, women got this thing where they fight for control in a relationship, but the man is supposed to be the leader, and maybe the women, like when I think about it, it's like, okay, we work together, but that the men are the leaders, the providers. But you have some women that want to date guys that will let them get away with doing whatever they want to do. Like I was talking to this gentleman about the behaviors and the attitude, and I was talking to him and I was letting him know that even my sister, I was talking to my sister a couple of days ago, and she was like, yeah, men's supposed to be the leaders, and blah, blah. I said, yeah. I said, she was like providing and paying the bills. I said, yeah, and that's fine. I said, but one thing, you're going to listen. I said, because it's not that we don't want to date, women in Western civilization in the U.S. and so forth. It's your attitude, So, so the guy said, "Yeah, I agree," because some of them think it's like, we don't want to date this group of women and this and this. And said, no, it's your mindset and your attitude. And I was talking to the gentleman. I said, something? I said, when in parts of Africa, you see women wear the traditional clothing to where they wear the nice hats or the nice flower robes and clothing to cover themselves, to dress modest. You see women that are in the part of the Arab region. These women are wearing niqab or wearing the hijab. You have women in the Middle East being modest, conservative in their dressing, wearing bias, the niqab, and so forth. So, and I said, even in parts of Asia, these women are dressed up nice. It's only in some of the Western civilization that women want to, well, even in Canada is like this too, to where you go out and you see women just wearing a tank top or a, what is it called? Tank top, yoga pants. And I know they call it I forgot what they call it, athletic, like, when someone just wearing athletic gear every day. But I don't really tend to choose that type because, just like I said, this is my type right here. Let me see. How do I get out of this? Okay. So, so yeah. But let me go back to this thing. Yeah. So. Mm-mm-mm. My. But yeah. So I was telling gentlemen, I think that women in Africa, Middle East, Asian, even the women that are in India, they wear their traditional clothing and they're covered up, and they have respect for themselves. Respect is a sign of behavior. It manifests through actions and interactions with others. Respectful behavior involves treating individuals with fairness, courtesy, and empathy, fostering positive relationships and a sense of dignity. It includes listening attentively, valuing the other partner's input, avoiding language or actions that could be perceived as disrespectful or demeaning. And going back to the young lady that asked me this question, what is femininity? Uh, just like I said, that she agreed with me that in doing so and posting these photos and stuff, there needs to be respect, not just for yourselves, but for the person, if you're wanting to date someone, or if you're in a relationship, or if you're a woman in your 30s, especially, and you looking for a man, just like this other young lady, like I went online today, and this other young lady that, she's posting things, this other young lady that I used to look at on here, she's posting things talking about she wants to uh, get married and so forth. And she's wearing all these revealing clothing. And I'm like, okay, how do you talk about you want a, we all know most women want a successful, ambitious man these days. But how could you say, oh, you want to get married, but you want to be free and liberated, sexually liberated, and posting all these provocative photos of yourselves, even if you're working out and trying to say, oh, I'm getting my body in shape, no. I don't think most successful men would be looking to marry a woman like that. If they did, I don't think that the man has a low self-esteem. Let's just say that. So let me go. Now that I'm on here, let me see what other thing before. My gosh. MashaAllah. See. So this is the young lady, and I'm gonna go before somebody say he's being a creep. But this is one of the young ladies that I admire for a while. I don't think I've ever been in her inbox or nothing like that either. I don't think maybe not. I don't think I've been in her inbox and shot her any message or anything like that. I mean, we can get off here. I just wanted to show you all the young lady that I had been wanting to put in this video. How do I? So, but yeah, so this is, like I said, this is what women need to pay attention to when they post things online. You need to be respectful, not just for the man you want, but to yourselves. I appreciate those that are taking the time to watch my videos, those that are liking, sharing my videos. I will also, let's see if I can put it up there. I'll leave my email to the bottom of this for those that want to email me. You can send me a message, send me an email here, and I will, if you have any questions that you would like me to go over regarding relationships. I don't mind talking about politics. I like politics. I kind of consider myself an economist. I like talking about finance, a little bit about politics and relationships. So if anybody has any questions, I will be willing to answer those. Because I think we all should pay attention to what's going on around the world. But yeah, so I will try to, if you send me an email, I will try to respond to them within 48 hours, and hopefully I could make a video out of it to give you some value. Thank you again for those that have been supporting me by liking, sharing the videos, and watching, especially watching, because that will eventually help me a lot. So I wholeheartedly appreciate you all for that. I'm trying to see if I have anything else to say. Next week's video is going to be nice. I think I'm going to talk about 50-50 relationships. I think that was nice. I was making this point the other day, talking to my sister about this, and I've noticed even some women in the Muslim community talk about this, to where men are wanting 50-50 relationships. So that's like a little bit of the little, that'd be like a little sneak peek of what I might have in store for next week's topic. Inshallah. Wa shukran jazilan. Masalam.